Let's go. All right. Come see me.
ไอ้ตัวแปลว่าตัวนี้
I didn't realize how purple they were.
เพราะตัวใหญ่จังน่าจะเป็นเหมือนหนูนะเอ้ย
Ready to go? Let's go.
What is up, folks? So, Trippin' Ain't Easy, still here in London. Today, we have been graciously sort of invited to the Tower of London by my friend here, Alex. He has a friend who is a Yeoman Warden here at the Tower, and he invited us to come out, so we're here now. It's been about 15 years since I've been here at the Tower, so quite a long time. But here we are. It is absolutely freezing today. Like, it is very, my hands are icicles. But here we are. We're waiting for the tour, about 2:30. So we're gonna see what we can get into, what I'm allowed to film, what I'm not. So stay with us.
Right! Are we all excited to be here?
Yeah!
I'm about to put a stop to that. Now, before I start the best tour of your lives, I must warn all of you right now. My tour does contain murders!
Yeah!
Executions!
Yeah!
My favourite hobby, torture! Yeah! So if it's not for your young, delicate ears, feel free to leave my tour anytime you like. Harry Potter World is that way. Secondly, and more importantly, are there any Americans or Australians in the audience? Put your hands up now. Welcome home. Oh, I get a lot worse, trust me. You can follow me on YouTube, TripAdvisor, TikTok, and Facebook. Happy? Yeah. Good. Now, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to His Majesty's Royal Palace and Fortress, the Tower of London, which is designated a World Heritage Site. My name is Yeoman Warder Scott Kelly. I am one of 35 Yeoman Warders, nicknamed the Beefeaters, and we live here. This is actually my home, because I am the former beloved late Queen's, now the King's personal ceremonial state bodyguard. We are the oldest formed bodyguard in the world, still in existence. We were formed way back in the year 1485 at the Battle of Bosworth during the reign of King Henry VII. Now, when you see some of my colleagues inside here today, you'll think that some of them actually joined in 1485. Luckily for you, not only are you about to have the best tour of your lives, but it's with the best looking Beefeater.
Yeah.
Oh my God, you're a hot crowd. Do not take my word for it. Wait till you see my colleagues and you'll see what I mean. Now, most of you will think the Tower of London about executions. Well, you are wrong, because the majority of the executions happened outside the Tower of London, just behind you on Tower Hill. Now, just past those large trees, over the main road, past that hideous pink ice cream van, is an area known as Trinity Square Gardens. Inside those gardens is a brass plaque on the floor. That is the site of all the public executions between the 14th and 18th century. King Edward IV in 1465, he had a public scaffold erected on Tower Hill. This caused much concern to the people of the City of London, having a public execution site on their south lawn. However, over the years, no less than 75 men of noble birth were to lose their heads up there by means of a solid block of oak and an axe. Now, as there are children here present in the audience today, I have no choice but to ramp my tour up. So children, just for your benefit and your sleep tonight, just imagine hundreds of years ago on Tower Hill, an execution taking place. Literally thousands of men women, even children. It was classed as a family day out. Would be gathered on Tower Hill, gathered around a raised platform, known as a scaffold, to witness the proceedings. The prisoner, having said his final speech and prayers, would then kneel down, placing his neck on a block of solid oak. He would then give a word or a signal to the executioner stood next to him. The executioner would bring that large, shiny axe crashing down, hopefully beheading his victim with one stroke of the blade, which, let me tell you children, rarely happened. The executioner would then lean forward and he would pick up that severed, still bleeding head, raise it aloft for all to see, as was the custom between the 14th and 18th century, to show that the head had been separated from the torso. Now, most of you here will notice I've picked this gentleman's head up by his hair. What would I have done if he was a bald man? Ears? Nose? Far too cute. The preferred and my select chosen method, inserted. Oh, you paid for this. But children, the best part about inserting your fist deep into a man's skull is you could have literally played with his eyeballs. Fortunately, this young man has a good head of hair, and as the executioner did back then, he would hold it aloft. He would then turn to the crowd in front of him and proclaim loudly, "Behold, the head of a traitor! So die, all traitors! God save the king!" At this moment in time, all the crowd gathered around the execution site would go wild with excitement. The king does not pay me enough for this. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, I received an email late last night from my beloved King Charles III, instructing me, Yeoman Warder Scott Kelly, his favourite Beefeater, to take the last tour of the day, because I am the best. Now I'm giving all of you right now 100% effort. You are giving me about 5% back. So we're going to do that again. Won't betide any of you who do not join in. I will be watching this time. Executioner, lift the head up high, turn to the crowd and proclaim, wait for it, "Behold the head of a traitor! So die all traitors! God save the king!" Louder! Are you not entertained?
Is this not why you are here?
Pay your money and come in, you peasants. This is not a free tour. That head would then be impaled onto a soldier's pike, paraded through the streets of London towards London Bridge, which in those days was the only bridge across the River Thames. Everybody here point in the direction of where they think London Bridge is. Let's use geographically challenged. Right, all of you pointing that way, you're wrong. That's Tower Bridge. It's called Tower Bridge because it lives next to the Tower of London. London Bridge is the first bridge to my left, your right. Now that's actually a fake bridge our American brothers and sisters purchased. Now don't worry, my Americans, I'm literally going to rip into you on my guided tour today, but that's because I love the Americans very much. Now that head on a soldier's pike would have been taken to London Bridge, displayed above the entrance as a sign of the fate that awaited all would-be traitors. Meanwhile, the bloody headless corpse, still lying right now on Tower Hill, violently twitching, oozing copious amounts of blood and guts.
Jesus Christ.
Children, you get the idea. Would be taken off the wooden scaffold, thrown into a small handcart. That body would then be brought back into the Tower of London, where it would quickly bury beneath the floor of the King's Royal Chapel. The route that headless corpse travelled is the exact same route you're about to walk. However, to enter this magnificent royal palace, you are all going to have to walk beneath the archway of the Beefeater Tower behind me. Now, the Beefeater Tower dates from the year 1280. It is exceptional. But as you walk underneath that archway, I dare all of you look up. You'll see the spikes of a portcullis or Norman dropgate. One of two portcullises that remain in the Tower of London. Both of them are actually in full working order. Although this one behind me is my favourite, because that portcullis dates from 1326, so it's very old. It also weighs 2.5 tons of oak and steel. Now, the reason why I, every day, walk through that archway very quickly, it's because the rope that's holding that portcullis up also dates from 1326. One day, that rope will eventually break. Hopefully, on some French students. Any French here? I love the French. Where's my French brothers and sisters? Ah, bonjour, monsieur. Ça va bien? Oh, we love you. I got more coming your way, though. You will also notice 2 circular holes drilled into the stonework above your head. These holes are called murder holes! Would be used by the defenders of that tower to pour boiling oil or hot sand or unwanted children onto any would-be attackers trying to break in. Now, I've noticed right now some of you are still not joining in, and that's unacceptable. So I now need to get all of you into a state of sheer excitement. Now, to do this, we are all going to start off with a very low cheer, gradually building that cheer to a crescendo, where we will all explode with excitement. Are we ready? Oh, God help us. All right, let's give it a go. Here we go. All right, we'll work on that one. Now, for me, personally, to lead a body of men, women, and children into this royal palace, more importantly, my home, as I am a sergeant major, more importantly, the former Queen's, now the King's, personal ceremonial state bodyguard. Thank you, ladies. I have my very own war cry. My war cry is huzzah. After 3, I want your loudest and best huzzah, or I'm not taking you. 1, 2, 3.
Huzzah!
Louder!
Huzzah!
Right, follow me quickly. Let's go.
All right, here's the, you can see the spikes right there already. Here's the
holes here. 1, 2, 3. They're the murder holes.
And then here's the portcullis he was talking about with the spikes. And apparently it's real.
Oh, there are spikes.
He's yelling at us. We gotta hurry. We gotta hurry. He's yelling. Oh!
Children, on that note, guess where you're now stood on? You're now stood in a killing ground! Woo! Between the inner and outer defensive wall. The inner wall is 50 feet high. The outer wall behind you is 28 feet thick. The road leading to your left, that road is called Mincefield, because these buildings are where all the coins of the realm were designed and produced, up until the year 1810. And you can come back here later today, doorway open on the left-hand side, you can go in there and see lots of coins that were produced in these buildings. However, all the buildings, plus that chain going across the road, where you're not allowed to go, that's because all those buildings in the outer wall that surround the Tower of London, they serve as accommodation for some of my fellow Yeoman Warder colleagues, nicknamed the Beefeaters. Now, some of my colleagues, they live here. Some of them are obviously married. Some of them even have unwanted children. Some of them have dogs and cats. On my last count, there are 15 children that live in the Tower of London. 16 dogs, 3 pussycats, 7 ravens, and 1 magnificent squirrel. To your right is a tall, dark, narrow archway, known as the byword postern. More importantly, that is the royal entrance. That's the entrance all of our kings and queens use to enter the town of London. The gates inside it, they're original. They date over 850 years old. Now what's more impressive is it's the exact location that the legendary King Henry VIII met the first time in history at the Tower of London his beautiful second wife, Queen Anne Boleyn, mother of Queen Elizabeth I. Yeah, exactly. Now normally I would ask for a willing volunteer, but today, as it's the last tour, I've decided I'm going to select a lady that's avoiding eye contact with me. Oh. Yes. Rita, well done for volunteering. Now, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, you might want to video this. Oh, great, even better. So, children, just imagine underneath that archway, several hundreds of years ago, the big, strong, extremely handsome King Henry VIII met his beautiful second wife, Anne Boleyn. Now, as Henry met Anne Boleyn for the first time at the Tower of London, he took her by the hand, caressed it gently. She could not stop looking at him without love in her eyes. Oh, you're good. He then told her he would love her for the rest of her life. Your round of applause, get back there, Mum. 3 years later, she was brought back to the Tower of London for a very different reason and for a very different gate. Now in front of all of you and behind me is the bell tower. It's called the bell tower because it's got a bell at the top. Now the bell tower is the strongest and oldest of the 13 towers within the inner wall. This one was built in 1220. It's divided into 2 circular prison chambers. The man for all seasons, Sir Thomas More, one-time Lord Chancellor of England, was held in the lower chamber for refusing to accept King Henry VIII as head of the Church of England. Now at the same time and for the same reason, John Fisher, the Bishop of Rochester, he was held in the upper chamber, also known as the Strong Room. Now both men were to suffer terribly, but neither would be persuaded to abandon their religious beliefs. In 1535, both men were taken from the bell tower up to Tower Hill for public execution. 400 years later, in 1935, both of those men were canonized as saints of the Roman Catholic faith. Now another famous prisoner to be held in the strong room above me was a young, beautiful Princess Elizabeth Tudor. Her half-sister, Queen Mary Tudor, believed that she was implicated in the Sir Thomas Wyatt Rebellion, which was against the plans to marry King... who? No. King Philip of Spain. Oh my goodness, what school did you all go to? However, she was proven innocent, although banished to Woodstock for a time. It would be 4 years until Elizabeth would return to the Tower of London for her very own coronation. And the last time she visited the Tower of London in her long reign of nearly 45 years. Right, time for some blood and gore. Are we ready? Yeah. Now children, I must warn you, it does get scary right now, but I will protect you. I am the King's bodyguard. And don't get this all happened in history, although it is completely true. Are you ready? We shall see. The last time I told this story, 2 people in the audience fainted. Don't worry children, they were adults. James Scott, the Duke of Monmouth, eldest of the 13 illegitimate children of King Charles II. He was a busy man, wasn't he? Yeah. He was imprisoned in the bell tower behind me. However, after the death of his father in 1685, this extremely handsome, popular young man, very much like myself, thank you, John, was persuaded to stake his claim to the throne. Now, to press home his claim, he landed in the West Country of England, marching inland, gaining popular Protestant support, in what was to become known as the Monmouth Rebellion. Well, that revolt was crushed at the Battle of Sedgemoor on the 6th of July, 1685. But the Duke, he escaped the battlefield. In fact, he evaded capture for up to 1 week until he was eventually found hiding, cowering in the ditch. 3 days later, there was no need for a trial. He was taken from the bell tower up to Tower Hill for public beheading. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, this was to become known as the bloodiest execution in English history! Get excited. The executioner went by the legendary name of Jack Ketch. It's recorded Jack Ketch was approximately 6'7" tall, weighing way in excess of 25+ stone. He was literally a giant of a man. But the problem was, he was only a part-time executioner. He was also a part-time family butcher. But very much like me, he was a full-time alcoholic. Cheers. It's water. In fact, most of the executioners were alcoholics because they were literally hated in society. And on the day of this said execution, nothing had changed. Because history tells us, in an extremely drunken stupor, it took Jack Ketch 5 strokes of the axe. The first stroke is recorded in history. As it came down, it struck the Duke on the top of his left shoulder. The second stroke immediately followed, but unfortunately, the blade only skimmed the very top of his head. As the Duke knelt there, squealing in agony, one of the clergy in the front row pointed to Jack Ketch and stated, "Jack Ketch, if you do not complete this execution right now, you, sir, will be next." Well, Jack started to sweat profusely, but he continued with the execution in a very drunken manner. 3 strokes later, he still hadn't severed the head from the body. The Duke was still kneeling in front of him right now, very much alive, but squealing in agony. Now Jack Ketch realized his own life was now in imminent danger, and he panicked, because in a fit of drunken rage, he bent forward, and he pulled out from his tunic his butcher's serrated carving knife that glinted in the sun. He then took hold of the Duke by his hair, forced his head back at a 45-degree angle. Children, now is definitely the time to look away, because he then started to cut away through the bone and sinew, hacking and sawing and hacking until his head came off. Until his head came off. Right, this is a moment in history that I look for a very brave child to volunteer. Who is that brave child going to be? Now, normally that head would have gone straight to London Bridge on a soldier's pike, displayed above that magnificent entrance as a sign of the fate that awaited all would-be traitors. But there's a massive twist in the story, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, because for the first time in British history, they brought the head back into the Tower of London with its body. That's never, ever happened. The reason why they brought the Duke's head back into the Tower of London is as Jack Ketch was cutting with that last bit of bone. Remember that, Patrick? One of the clergy in the front row just remembered we didn't have a portrait of the Duke. So they brought his head and body back into the Tower of London, where they laid both out on a solid wooden oak table. A surgeon with a large needle and thread stitched the head back to the torso. He then dressed him in all of his refinery, placed a white tudor up around his neck to cover the scarring. It makes for a beautiful watercolour painting. I know, I've seen that portrait. It hangs today in the National Portrait Gallery in London. But I've got to be honest, ladies and gentlemen, when you see it, you'll have the same opinion I have. He does not look happy. 1876, Queen Victoria gave us Beefeaters permission to exhume his body out of the ground. When we dug the Duke's body up, we indeed found his head had been surgically reattached to his torso. You can't make this up. Its history is great. Right now, some of you might be feeling a little bit squeamish and understand why I've just talked about the brutal execution and there are children here. So as there are children here, I'm going to cheer you all up with my first joke of the day. Now, I've been working on this joke for approximately 6 years with a horrendous pandemic we've all had to live with. It's very short and sweet, but I hope you love it as much as I do. Are you ready? Yes! Right, here we go. Let's be heading off. Huzzah! Right, chop chop all of it.
Okay, well, it is absolutely freezing here. Like, it is bone-chilling cold. Hope you guys enjoyed that little piece there. I didn't record all of it, of course, because you guys need to come here and you guys need to check it out. And as you can see in the background, the cool tower bridges right there. It's pretty neat. We're actually going to walk into this building here. This is the, I don't know how to pronounce that. Something. It's something. The Fusilier Museum. We're going to walk in here, try to get a little warm, maybe walk around, show some stuff in here as well. But yeah, we're going to walk up in here because it is absolutely freezing. I'm going to try to be quiet because it is a bit of a museum. But yeah, there's lots of cool stuff in here. I don't think we came in here last time. I don't remember coming in here last time we were here.
This is, I thought there were drinks in here. You lied to me.
Well, I literally saw 3 people walking out with cups. But it's warm, so that's a step in the right direction. She's upset I lied to her. Oh, so yeah, if you like history, you would love this place. Hopefully you can hear me. I'm trying to talk kind of quiet so I don't disturb anybody. Look at this thing. Look at this thing right here. What's that? It's a wine cooler. That is quite the wine cooler. Ooh. There you go, you can see yourself. The ladies are warming their booties on the... Alright, so it's a little... It's still very warm despite those doors being open. So that's kind of crazy. There's a souvenir coin. Oh, it looks like it's off. Yeah, it's not on right now. Is that one on? No? Something's on in here for it to be that warm and that door be open. So here's a bunch of medals here. Let's check out some British medals. What do we got here?
face in it. Says well. It's not even on.
I know, it's not hot enough.
It's not hot enough, is it?
I don't know where all the heat's coming at from this building though, because they got the doors wide open and it's still nice and warm. Ooh. They're opening drawers.
It says open me. Not let it open. Cuts.
All right, so we just came from the crown jewels. You can't film in there. You're not allowed to film the plastic jewels. But yeah, it was like it had all the scepters and all the crowns and like all kinds of cool stuff in there. But yeah, you're not allowed to film in there when you go in there. But so this right here, I think, is actually officially the Tower of London right there. Like this whole thing is sort of called the Tower of London, but that's actually like the Tower of London right there. And there's the Tower Bridges looking all cool and ominous in the background. It's actually pretty neat. But let me see if I can get a thumbnail here. See if I can get me a thumbnail. Okay, there we go. That's gonna probably be the thumbnail. But we are actually gonna head now to a little place to get something to eat because it is absolutely freezing. We would have liked to have checked out more, but it is bone-chilling cold right now. Like crazy cold. But hope you enjoyed that video. The guy you actually saw narrating and the guy in the beginning who was feeding the crows, he was actually our friend's friend. He's Beefy409. Check him out on like Facebook, all social media. He will be linked down below. If he happens to be watching this, appreciate you letting us come out and check it out. But that's pretty much all I've got for you for this video. So, make sure you like, subscribe, comment down below your favorite tourist spot. Wait, I don't even know if you can hear me. Comment down below your favorite tourist spot in your area, and we will try to make it there. But as always, tripping ain't easy. Show is fun. And there is actually the Keys pub that he was talking about right there. You cannot go in that pub unless you are specifically invited by someone. So, yeah, pretty cool.